Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So first and foremost, happy new year to each and every one of you guys. This is going to be a great year for B.L.R. Nothing to stopping the train. We pushing all the way through the walls. We busting down all the barriers, and we taking it there this year. This is going to be a crazy year, all right? And we're going to ride it all 365, all right? So shout out to y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here as long as we've been here. Y'all have made the channel what it is, and it's going to get even better, all right? So shout out to y'all, man. Give yourselves a round of applause. Hopefully everybody had a good New Year's. What'd y'all do last night? I think I was outside for maybe about 5 minutes before shots start going off. Then I went back in the house. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it was pretty cool, though. You know, so hopefully this is going to be a good year of prosperity, success, growth, and anything positive that we could think of. Lots of ducats, you know what I'm saying? All of that, you know what I'm saying? So y'all already know we about to get into the formalities. If you guys can hear me okay and everything sounds good, looks good, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys can't hear me or there's something wrong with the visual, then give me a thumbs down. And I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building, all right? Let me see. We got Brooklyn Queen 125 in the house. Shout out to you. Good to see you. We got Sybil. We got Vovo 2 Love. We got James Hudson. We got Dora Malahi. We got Tori and Rain. Shout out to you, bro. And I seen that live stream that you did last night, man. That was real. That was real talk, man. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, you know, that was real. That was solid. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons I got so much respect for you, bro. We got Denise in the building. Denise Scales, shout out to you. Good to see you. We got John Guillory. Shout out to John Guillory. We got my man James Hudson in the building. We got Leonard D. Yuta. We got Jay Cage. Shout out to you, bro. We got Maxima. What's good with it? We got Lloyd Sky 9. We got Vega. We got Jet Black. Shout out to Jet Black. And we got my man James Sumler in the house. Shout out to you. Mama Zeke is in the building. All right, that's what's good. That's what's good, man. Shout out to y'all. If y'all haven't smashed that like button, smash that like button. If y'all haven't hit that bell, hit that bell. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and this list. Now, here go my question. How many people heard about that black book that came out with the names in it? I don't know if all of the names from that black book have been released. And honestly, I don't even know if that black book and this list of associates are the same thing, but we're going to find out. Now, I did a bunch of videos on Jeffrey Epstein, and to be honest, my first video that I made for YouTube was a Jeffrey Epstein video. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, YouTube, I got a channel strike on that video, I want to say 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Heat St. Cloud. Happy New Year to you too, bro. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Denise, Mrs. Nisi, with the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. She the first stream sponsor. Make sure y'all show her some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for her. Definitely appreciate it. All right. But in that video, we talked about Jeffrey Epstein. We talked about Ghislaine Maxwell. We talked about some of the things that he's interested in, like transhumanism and some of the sick stuff that at the time he was alleged of doing. And he never ended up making it to trial because of the quote unquote jail situation. Now, there's a lot of interesting backstory behind Jeffrey Epstein, behind Ghislaine Maxwell. And because that very first video that I did was very extensive and it was removed, quote unquote, for hate speech, I would advise people to check it out. So in this live stream, once it processes, I'm gonna put links. They're gonna be on those cards that'll take you to some of the videos that I did about Jeffrey Epstein. But if you subscribe to my BitChute channel, the original video is there. Y'all should check it out. All right. So this is an article from ABC. All right. And it's talking about the court documents naming Jeffrey Epstein's associates to be unsealed. What to know? Former President Clinton, Prince Andrew, and others are expected to be named. Now, here go my question. Who all do you guys think is going to be named? I need y'all to drop in the comment section everybody that you think is going to be on this list. And when this list is finally complete and released, we're going to match it up and see how well we did. Let's take a look at this 25-second video clip real quick.
Tonight in New York City, a federal judge ordering the unsealing of documents expected to reveal the names of dozens of Jeffrey Epstein's associates. The documents are part of Virginia Giuffre's settled lawsuit against Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Giuffre claimed she was sexually abused and trafficked by Epstein with help from Maxwell. More than 150 names are set to be made public the first week of January, including, authorities say, alleged co-conspirators.
Now, shout out to James Hudson. All right, because I seen him in the comment section, and he said allegedly, quote unquote, Bill Clinton is on that list. Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein was real good friends. How many people saw that picture that they found? I think his island was called Little St. James, and they found that picture of Bill Clinton in the blue dress with the red shoes. Weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Weird stuff. That whole Little St. James Island situation was extremely weird. There was this weird building with these blue stripes on it, and it had a gold dome. You guys remember that? There's a media outlet called Slade, and Slade did a really in-depth article on the symbolism of that temple. Y'all should check that out. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says hundreds of sealed court findings pertaining to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein are set to be made public this week, and several prominent names, including Britain's Prince Andrew and former President Bill Clinton, are expected to appear in the documents. Now here go. Now, what I find interesting about the entire Prince Andrew situation, they got pictures of Prince Andrew with that Virginia individual. I want to say from when she was around 16 years old. And I'm pretty sure that Prince Andrew was named in her lawsuit. Now, the Miami Herald did a very intense report about this. If you guys want to look up other information about it, I would suggest that you start there. But I'm pretty sure Prince Andrew was really involved in that situation, particularly the part with that Virginia woman when she was a minor. Now, we got to ask a whole bunch of questions. The first question is, where did Jeffrey Epstein get all this money from? Second question, where did Ghislaine Maxwell get all this money from? Third question, for the original charges, how did he only get 18 months where he didn't even have to serve the time in jail when he was up in New York? That's the question. So now here it says U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska ruled earlier this month that there was no legal justification for continuing to conceal the ex-president's name and more than 150 other names as John Doe and Jane Doe mentioned in the records. Prescott ordered the unsealing to begin after January 1st. So now let me ask y'all this. Why were these names sealed to begin with? Now, how many people remember that quote unquote conspiracy theory called Pizzagate? Y'all remember that? How many people remember that? If y'all remember Pizzagate, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't remember Pizzagate, give me a thumbs down. It's probably difficult to find any content on YouTube pertaining to Pizzagate anymore. But if you are able to find content on Pizzagate, they mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. You know what I'm saying? But then they tried to hurry up and shoo it away as a conspiracy theory. The same thing that they did when they found out about that laptop with Hunter Biden. Now, shout out to YGLTB1. What's good with it, bro? And what's good with it, Mike? My question is, where's the accountability for the media in helping to misconstrue information and to hide information? Because they wouldn't be able to get away with this kind of stuff if it wasn't for the cooperation between the mainstream media, social media, and the court system. The court system sealed the names for as long as they sealed them. Social media striking people's videos and not letting anybody post any content about it, asking questions. And the mainstream media deciding to pump out stories as much as they want to or suppress stories as much as they want to. When are any of those entities going to be held accountable? You know, some of this stuff might already be figured out if social media and the mainstream media were not in cahoots to try to maintain and control the narrative, because they shut things down and open them up as they see fit or however it fits their agenda. Jeffrey Epstein was an individual that was into transhumanism. He had a ranch in New Mexico where he planned to impregnate 100 women. There's an article that The Guardian put out about this. In order to preserve his sperm. And allegedly, I don't know how it would possibly happen, but improve the human race. I don't know how anything involving his DNA could improve the human race, but that's what he thought in his warped and twisted mind. There was an organization called H+. How many people ever heard of this organization called H+? If you heard of H+, give me a thumbs up. If you did not hear H+, give me a thumbs down. H+ is a transhumanist lobbying group and research group. Jeffrey Epstein made a huge donation to H+. Now, this organization is called H+, right? The symbol for it is like a hydrogen ion, H+. You know what I'm saying? But it's actually, the H actually stands for Humanity Plus. This is a transhumanist organization, just like the Transhumanist Political Party of the United States. Now, you can't even really say transhumanism all like that on YouTube, because they'll start doing weird stuff with your channel. You see, they do weird stuff with my channel. You know what I'm saying? And I've never confirmed or denied any of this stuff or encouraged anybody to quote unquote believe any of it. I just literally say what they talk about in the news and keep it pushing. This is the kind of individual that had massive amounts of money. Now, the fact that he had those transhumanist beliefs, he had all of these parties. He had that island called Little St. James in the Bahamas, I want to say. And he had that ranch in New Mexico. and he had prior allegations against him, people should have been paying attention to this stuff. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Ghislaine Maxwell was actually at and invited to Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Now, they got this saying, and it says, birds of a feather flock together. What could Jeffrey Epstein do to possibly entertain the people that he had with him? When we go back and look at how much time Jeffrey Epstein spent being a degenerate and doing degenerate stuff, you got to ask yourself the question, with the type of people that he was around, did he do these things alone? Or did he do these things as entertainment for other people? He had a whole system at play. He had a whole system at work. Ghislaine Maxwell was like his deranged, weirdo administrative assistant. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell is a whole nother mystery. That's a whole nother mystery. If I'm not mistaken, her father is a rich individual that's part of them folks from the UK. If I'm not mistaken, her father owned the book publishing company called Elsevier. Now, I don't know if people know who Elsevier is, but if you got children in college, if you yourself take some type of coursework, Elsevier is one of those publishers like McGraw-Hill. You know what I'm saying? They called her a British socialite. That's what they called her. They said that she was a British socialite. I'm gonna show you guys what a socialite here in the United States did real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna show y'all this. This is what a socialite here in the United States did. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if y'all haven't hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And if you guys have not shared the stream to your social media, please take a moment and share the stream to your social media. Look at this right here. Albemarle socialite accused of that. And she claims that she's not particularly dangerous and seeks release. Ain't nobody about to release you. It's your weird self. There's a weird common theme when it comes to a lot of these quote unquote socialites or quote unquote rich people, and they're always doing something that is damn near pornographically degenerate. Why? And they're able to do it with the cover of the government, the cover of their businesses. A lot of times they do this stuff right out in the public, right in the open. And don't nobody say nothing. Then they might mess with the wrong person. Then it all comes out. Yeah, facts. Shout out to Torian. Torian said Ghislaine was basically a madam. Facts. And remember Allison Mack. Oh yeah, she was in that that cult that Catsy talking about, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Abdul Khalifa. Rich folks like to really get kinky, and chicks frown at me for asking about role playing. That's hilarious. You're asking the wrong chicks. Find the right ones. They'll tell you yes. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska ruled earlier this month that there was no legal justification for continuing to conceal the ex-president's name and more than 150 names other John Does mentioned in the records. Presco ordered the unsealing to begin after January 1st. So there was no legal justification to conceal these names. So my question for you all is, why did they conceal the names in the first place? Who were they protecting? We're going to find out eventually. The documents stem from a 2015 lawsuit centered on allegations that Epstein's one-time paramour, Ghislaine Maxwell, facilitated the sexual abuse of Virginia, I think that's Giuffre, an alleged trafficking victim. Giuffre also accused Epstein and Maxwell of having directed her to have sex with Prince Andrew and several other prominent men. Prince Andrew denied the allegations and claimed he could not recall ever meeting Giuffre. He later settled a lawsuit she filed against him. Now, he might act like he didn't remember meeting her, but they got pictures together, which I'm not shocked, but ABC should have put the picture of them two together. How many people ever seen that picture with Prince Andrew and Giuffre together? If you guys seen that picture, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Most of the prominent names that appear in the documents are already associated in some way with Epstein for allegations of wrongdoing, for having worked with Epstein, flown on his planes, or visited his homes. Some were mentioned during Maxwell's criminal trial in 2021. In some instances, the only appearance of the names are in potential witness lists or in proposed terms for searches of electronic records. While Giuffre's allegations against Prince Andrew and his denials have been widely reported around the globe, dozens of the sealed records are expected to contain additional details from Jane Doe 162, a witness who testified she was with Prince Andrew, Maxwell, and Giuffre, then 17, at Epstein's New York mansion. Giuffre has alleged that gathering in 2001 was one of the occasions that she was directed to have sex with Andrew. Now, they should make Andrew take a polygraph test. What do y'all think? If y'all think that they should make Andrew take a polygraph test, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't think they should make Andrew take a polygraph test, give me a thumbs down. I think he should have to take a polygraph. Giuffre made no allegations of wrongdoing by Clinton, and there is no indication that the sealed records contain evidence of illegal conduct by Clinton. Now, here's the thing, right? Just because there's no evidence, that doesn't mean that nothing happened. That also doesn't mean that anything did happen. But if we go off a past record of Bill Clinton, we know that Bill Clinton is shady. We know that Bill Clinton will get down. So just because he's not on the list, knowing the kind of stuff that Bill Clinton was doing while he was president makes you wonder what he was doing in private. Well, actually, we know what he was doing in private. One of the things that he was doing in private was dealing with Monica Lewinsky. So if you're involved in shade in private, is it safe to assume that there could be involvement in more shade? Jeffrey Epstein is a weird person to be associated with. Why would you be associated with a weirdo? Now, there may not be many people that associated with him, right? They might just be names on the list from transactions, visiting parties, or whatever. But how many people do y'all think witnessed weirdness go on around Jeffrey Epstein? How many people was around when Ghislaine Maxwell brought out somebody and you was like, it just got awkward in here? If you ask me, there was probably a lot of people around that witnessed that type of thing. How many people do y'all think told anybody? Probably not that many. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 61 people in the building. Shout out to y'all. And we got 46 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 70, that'd be great. So now here it says, but Gufear's claim that she met the ex-president on Epstein's private Caribbean island emerged as a contentious issue in the litigation, which was settled in 2017. Maxwell contended Clinton had never been to Little St. James, as Epstein Island was known, and assailed Gufear's claim as a fabrication that shattered her credibility. Personal flight logs kept by one of Epstein's pilots, which surfaced in separate lawsuits against Epstein, showed that Clinton and his entourage had flown extensively on Epstein's jumbo jet to international destinations such as Paris, Bangkok, and Brunei in 2002 and 2003, but none of the available records included the former president on a trip to Epstein's island. Now, you also got to ask the question, well, if they were friends, why didn't he go to the Epstein Island? Possibly because he knew there was some stuff going down there. So he wanted to try to keep his hands clean. You know what I'm saying? The court documents to be unsealed this week represent the 8th and likely final round of unsealing records from the case since the Miami Herald intervened for access to the records in 2018. Previously unsealed items included multiple deposition transcripts of Maxwell and Gufear, along with sworn but unproven allegations that Epstein and Maxwell directed Gufear to have sex with several well-known men, including former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell, the late model scout Jean Luc Brunel, billionaire hedge fund manager Glenn Dubin, and others. Now, let me ask y'all this. How many of you all believe this? If you believe this, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't believe this, give me a thumbs down. Maxwell denied the allegations, as did all of the men identified by Gufear when their names surfaced. This batch will involve the names of additional Epstein associates, alleged perpetrators, alleged co-conspirators, alleged victims, witnesses, and former Epstein employees. Several of the does mentioned in the documents are now deceased. Former President Clinton, who ABC News has learned is identified as Doe 36, is mentioned in more than 50 of the redacted filings, according to court records. And again, why did Epstein have a picture of Bill Clinton in a damn dress in red high heels at his damn island? Why did he have that? Now, let me ask y'all this. If people knew that Bill Clinton was this kind of degenerate, do you think that he would have had as much support to become the president when he did? Or not? You think people would have tossed him out? I don't think people would have rocked with him had they known all this. Oh, it was in the New York residence. Okay. It was in the New York residence. Why would you have that picture, period? And that's the only that's the picture that they released. We don't even know what else it is that they found there. Why would he have Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding? Now, there's also a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell where she's close to Elon Musk. Elon Musk tries to say that she's an artifact in the picture. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Several of those sealed or redacted entries are focused on an effort by Gufir's lawyers in mid 2016, first reported by ABC News, to subpoena the two-term Democratic president for deposition testimony about his relationship with Epstein. Now, what do y'all think his relationship with Epstein was? How do y'all think they met? How much money do y'all think Epstein gave to certain people's campaigns? See, to me, that's something that's really important. I want to see how much money Epstein, quote unquote, and associated entities donated to people's campaigns. I also want to see how many politicians had business dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jeffrey Epstein, I don't think that he had very much education. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But somehow he became this quote unquote portfolio manager. How do you do that? According to portions of the court record that were not sealed, Gufir's legal team initiated informal discussions with attorneys for the then unnamed witnesses on June 9th of 2016. That was a few days after the former president's wife, Hillary Clinton, clinched the Democratic nomination for president. Representatives for Gufir did not contact the former president's attorneys in 2016 about a potential deposition. A person familiar with the situation told ABC News. Clinton's lawyers responded that his testimony would not be helpful to Gufir because the person said the former president had never been on Epstein's island, as she had claimed. Maxwell called the move to question Clinton, quote unquote, utter nonsense and a transparent ploy by Gufir to increase media exposure for her sensational stories through deposition sideshow. Her attorney, Laura Menninger, wrote, according to an unredacted section of a court filing. Gufir's legal team, in contrast, described the proposed testimony of Clinton as highly relevant and important to the fundamental claims and defenses in the case. The request was ultimately denied by U.S. Judge Robert Sweet in a redacted ruling in late June of 2016. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If you ask me, because of the type of social circle that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell kept themselves around, if you ask me, them using the American legal system automatically creates a conflict of interest, because with the type of high profile value chain people that they surrounded themselves with, you got to ask yourself the question, are there more people who are on the payroll of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein in the United States government, or are there less people on the payroll of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein? If this dude is kicking it with a former president, if this dude is kicking it with somebody that's part of the British royal family, who is actually not compromised to be able to hear a trial about this and come with a unbiased decision or verdict, quote unquote, without prejudice? Who's able to do that with the type of reach that Jeffrey Epstein had? My question for people is, who didn't Jeffrey Epstein have access to? I think the list of people that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have access to is actually greater than, or is actually smaller than the list of people that he did have access to. This dude was literally what you call a billionaire for no reason. A BFNDR, a billionaire for no damn reason. If you go back and look at that article that the Miami Herald did, the sentence that he got was a slap on the wrist. Yeah, shout out to Lloyd Scott 9, a BF NDR, a billionaire for no damn reason. It's a lot of those. Ghislaine Maxwell is one of them too. And these BF NDRs always tend to be involved in this weirdo activity. Damn near always. You could almost like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Gufear's lawyers pressed the Clinton issue again at a hearing in March of 2017, 6 weeks before a trial was scheduled to begin. According to a publicly available transcript, Gufear's team was then seeking to preclude Maxwell's side from presenting testimony suggesting that Clinton hadn't been on Epstein's island. Her attorneys argued that it would be inherently unfair to Gufear because they had not been permitted to ask the former president if he had ever been to Little St. James, as Epstein's private island estate was known. Now, mind you, this dude owned an island, which is crazy to begin with. You did not allow us to depose him because you said it was irrelevant, McCauley told Judge Sweet. Now you're in a position where at trial, they want to put forth that information against my client. So I don't have an under oath statement from that individual saying whether or not he actually was, she added. Maxwell's attorneys, according to the transcript, told the court that Maxwell was prepared to take the stand and testify that Clinton was never on the island. But because the trial never occurred, Gufear's motion to exclude testimony about Clinton was left unresolved. For information about the debate over the issue could become public in the documents to be unsealed. Clinton's name is also expected to be unsealed in filings surrounding separate efforts by Maxwell and Gufear to compel Epstein to answer questions. Now, why do you think that happened? Why do you think that happened? The disgraced financier invoked his constitutional rights against self-incrimination to every inquiry during a September 2016 deposition, as he had done many times before in civil lawsuits against him. According to a procedure established by Preska, attorneys for each of the does were offered a preview of the court files containing their name before determinations were made about unsealing the records. Each person was afforded an opportunity to argue for keeping the records sealed. Clinton's legal team, after reviewing the excerpts, did not lodge any objections to the publication of the documents, according to Preska's order last month. So that's interesting. So after the review of these documents, Clinton's team didn't advise them or request for them to keep these documents sealed. A spokesperson for Clinton has denied to comment for this story. Clinton's association with Epstein was first noted publicly in 2002 after reporters learned of the former president's journey that year on the mysterious multimillionaire jet for a humanitarian mission to multiple African nations. Was it a humanitarian or human trafficking? Now, it makes you wonder why it is that these quote unquote rich people, quote unquote, always invest in these quote unquote poor areas. If you ask me, it's not because they care. It's kind of a tax. We'll invest this much money into y'all broke asses, and we're going to take some people and take some resources and do as we will with them. And because we gave y'all this quote unquote philanthropy, aka hush money, y'all gonna stay quiet about it and enjoy these new resources that they gave you. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important for people like Jeffrey Epstein, who are part of this upper echelon of WS, to maintain all of the resources. Because the way that Jeffrey Epstein was running this little operation, as long as you control all of the resources, you always have access to somebody that can be bought off, which is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way to completely eliminate undetectable corruption. You know, you could be as efficient as you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You can, try to instill good values in people. You can try to be an example of good values yourself. But at the end of the day, there's no protection against volatility. The only form of something that looks similar to protection against volatility is risk reduction. But all you can ever do is reduce the risk to a lower limit. You can never eliminate it. You could use the AI approach, and if you eliminate all humans, then there's no risk. But I don't think most people are interested in doing that. You know what I'm saying? Most people. So now here it says Clinton told New York Magazine through a spokesperson at the time that Jeffrey is both a highly successful financier and a quote-unquote committed philanthropist with a keen sense of global markets and an in-depth knowledge of 21st century science. Yeah, he's talking about that transhumanism, cyber sorcery. What the hell he talking about? Now, let me ask you guys this. Knowing that Jeffrey Epstein had planned on converting a ranch basically to a eugenic baby farm, what are the chances that he planned on using some of those places that he invested his philanthropy into to utilize those as baby factories? Do you all think that Jeffrey Epstein had any moral or ethical boundaries? And I gotta agree, U-Law. Shout out to you, bro. U-Law says morality is only for the poor. Facts. Shout out to my man, Keep It 100. That's why I tell people need to throw away these ideas of the past and maintain a internal locus of control and adopt a master mentality. Adopt a master mentality. You know what I'm saying? So he says, I especially appreciated his insights and generosity during the recent trip to Africa to work on democratization, empowering the poor, citizen service, and combating quote unquote HIV/AIDS, the statement said. Now, if you are rich and you fly to a poor area, you can always say that you were doing it, quote unquote, to help the poor. Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. What's good with it? Shout out to Mike Mellis John. What's good with you, bro? Now, let me ask you this. What do y'all really think went on when they went to Africa? Why are people like Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein, quote unquote, so interested in Africa? I'll tell you one thing. It's not to spend money. It's to make money. You know, all of these people got all of their money from Africa. Elon Musk, his parents had a apartheid emerald mine that they got their riches off of. He's not a hard worker. He's not a brilliant individual like the mainstream media wants to make him out to be. He's a freaking weirdo that makes funny faces that's crashing Twitter, which was a successful business before he got his spoiled hands on it. He's somebody that Vivek Ramaswamy would like to hold the RNC debates along with Joe Rogan because they're the intellectual cream of the crop. According to, Vivek Ramaswamy. But all of these people steal all of their wealth from Africa. All of the gold and jewelry. Now, people sit there and talk about rappers wearing gold, right? Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I want y'all to pay very close attention. Everybody got the biggest critiques for rappers because they wear them gold chains and all them diamonds, right? Now, we all know rappers ain't the smartest individuals. And sometimes they get those gold and diamonds in a shady way. But the gold and rap, the gold and diamonds of the entire hip hop community are worth less than the royal family's carriage. And literally nobody ever criticizes the royal family's carriage. And most of that stuff, the royal family, they could have taught 50 Cent how to rob because they actually did. And don't nobody say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Tony D. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show DSB some love with the $2 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Please throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for him for being a second stream sponsor. Definitely appreciate it. But don't nobody ever say nothing about that. You see all of these old Uncle Ruckus, Jim Clyburn, Clarence Thomas looking civil rights relics sitting around criticizing young people. You know why old, decrepit, 1 foot in the grave civil rights relics criticize young people? Because they look at us and see greatness, and then they got to go when they about to rub their arthritis cream on and look at they sorry asses in the mirror. That's why. And don't ever forget that. You know what I'm saying? Don't never forget that. These old, like Jim Clyburn and people like that, Roland Martin, what they are the equivalent of those type of abusive parents that are upset because their children are surpassing them. You're supposed to be proud that your children do better than you. You're supposed to set your children up to do better than you. The entire purpose of your children is to do better than you. But we got a narcissism problem in the old generation. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Clinton's representatives have said the former president cut off contact with Epstein in 2005 before the financier became under investigation in Palm Beach, Florida, for allegedly luring underage girls to his seaside mansion for illicit sexualized massages. Now, here goes my question. The timing was just right? Or do you think Epstein was doing something that was a little bit too edgy, even for Bill Clinton, and he was like, nah, I can't do this one, man. I'm good on this. And then Bill Clinton was like, I'm out. Don't call me no more. I'm deleting your number. Leave me alone. I'm not coming to your island or any of that stuff. But then Bill Clinton just went on about his business, though. He didn't go and tell no authorities. As many books as these people write, didn't write nothing about it in a memoir. Why did Bill Clinton cut ties? Yeah, facts. Shout out to Joy. Why did he cut ties? What do y'all think? What reason do y'all think that he cut the ties for? When Epstein first faced potential prosecution a few years later, one of the disgraced financier's lawyers wrote to prosecutors to tout Epstein's pedigree as part of the original group that conceived of Clinton Global Initiative, according to a 2007 letter attached to a court filing several years later. Well, I'll tell you what, if this doesn't make people want to go back and dig up those old Pizzagate videos, I don't know what would. When Epstein first faced potential federal prosecution a few years later, one of the disgraced financier's lawyers wrote to prosecutors to tout Epstein's pedigree as quote unquote part of the original group that conceived that conceived of the Clinton Global Initiative, according to a 2007 letter attached to a court filing several years later. Now, here go my question. How well did that sound like it aged? Did that age good or did that age bad? That didn't age too well, did it? Following Epstein's arrest for child sex trafficking in 2019, a spokesperson for Clinton, Angel Urna, said in a statement that the former president knows nothing about Epstein's crimes. He's not spoken to Epstein in well over a decade, the statement added, and has never been to Little St. James Island, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, or his residence in Florida. Now, I'm curious as to what was going on at that ranch in New Mexico. We know what he wanted to use the ranch for, but I'm curious as to what was actually going on in there. Subsequent reporting after Epstein's death has revealed that Epstein and Maxwell attended a 1993 reception for donors to the nonprofit White House Historical Association. The smiling pair are seen greeting the president at the White House in photos unearthed from the archives of the Clinton Presidential Library in Arkansas. Guffier, now a 40-year-old mother living in Australia, filed the action against Maxwell in September of 2015, alleging that the former British socialite defamed her when her publicist issued a statement referring to Guffier's allegations as obvious lies. I don't think that her allegations are obvious lies. Honestly, for real, I think that her allegations are pretty investigation worthy. If you guys think that these allegations are investigation worthy, give me a thumbs up. If you think this is a bunch of nonsense, give me a thumbs down. A substantial portion of the filings in the case were originally placed under seal with heavy redaction under sweeping court orders intended to shield the identities of the alleged victims, people not accused of wrongdoing, and quote unquote absent third parties facing allegations that could implicate and potentially irreparably intrude on the privacy of individuals not present before the court. The morning after the first set of documents was unsealed by a federal appeals court in 2019, Epstein died by hanging in his jail in Manhattan. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is this a coincidence? Or is there something more to this? If this is a coincidence, give me a thumbs up. If there's something more to this, then give me a thumbs down. The morning after the first set of documents was unsealed by a federal appeals court in 2019, Epstein died by hanging in his jail cell in Manhattan, where he was being held pending trial on charges of CST and conspiracy. Okay. The New York Medical Examiner ruled that the death was a suicide, and the Justice Department Inspector General report concurred with that determination. So now, again, with the kind of reach that Jeffrey Epstein had, anybody that writes anything about him, can it be trusted? If you ask me, it can't be. if you ask me, it's perfectly fair for literally everything about this particular situation to be able to be questioned and for there to be copious amounts of speculation. You know what I'm saying? Maxwell was convicted in 2021 on 5 of 6 counts related to the abuse and trafficking of underage girls. After the verdict, Maxwell's attorneys cited her connection to former President Clinton's charitable work as part of her effort for a reduced sentence, including a claim of, quote unquote, helping develop the Clinton Global Initiative, according to a sentencing memo filed in the court. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you all think that they use that value chain, quote unquote, Clinton Global Initiative to launder money, to be able to get themselves some quote unquote undocumented sex toys? Imagine this. You know, people talk about what the passport bros do when they go to these places, right? Now, mind you, I don't know, if the passport bros are guilty of committing crimes when they go to the places that they go, but they quote unquote go there, you know what I'm saying, to meet women and stuff like that, right? And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, if we're gonna assume that all of this insanity goes on with the passport bros when they go on their excursions, what kind of stuff do you think was or is going on with people like Bill Clinton when they're flying all over the place to third world countries, and they've got more money and more resources and more access than all of the passport bros combined? Yeah, big big facts, Torian. Torian said, I hope the passport bros don't end up on a list. Facts. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you guys show some love to DSB with the $3 super sticker. DSB is the 4th string sponsor. And I didn't even see this. Real quick, also, please show some love and throw some radiation emoji for my man, Mike Mellis John, with the 15 months of membership support. Definitely appreciate it, bro. So here's an article from The Guardian, and it's basically saying the same thing. Nearly 200 names are linked to Jeffrey Epstein, and they're expected to be made public. List could be released as soon as Tuesday after deadline for objection to unsealing names passes midnight on Monday. So that's today. That's today. It's going down. Who is that made that song? It's going down. Was that Young Jock? It's going down. It's about to go down. Nearly 200 names connected to the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking conspiracy could be released by a New York judge as soon as Tuesday, exposing or confirming the identities of dozens of associates of the disgraced financier that until now have only been known as Jane and John Doe. In court papers, a deadline for objections to the unsealing of the name passes at midnight on Monday, nearly 9 years after victim Virginia Giuffre filed a single defamation claim against Maxwell, daughter of the late British press baron Robert Maxwell, in 2015, that in turn produced the names in legal depositions. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Robert Maxwell, I'm pretty sure that he owns some type of newspaper or something like that too. Now, again, how do these people get so much money? How did we just randomly got all this money to just start these successful businesses, and you people don't work hard? We have magic money. You people don't work hard. You people are lazy. You people have never gotten reparations, but you people get handouts. But we actually get handouts. A year later, in 2016, U.S. District Court Judge Robert Sweet rejected Maxwell's motion to dismiss the case, finding that the veracity of a contextual world of facts more broad than the allegedly defamatory statements, and that Gufir was a victim of sustained underage sexual abuse between 1999 and 2002. The parties settled out of court in 2017. Now, how many people heard about these perverted massages that Jeffrey Epstein used to get? If you guys heard of those perverted massages that Jeffrey Epstein used to get, then give me a thumbs up. If y'all never heard of that, then give me a thumbs down. That's now the reason why I ask about that is because that temple that he built on Little St. James, that temple was actually modeled after a what they call a quote unquote Turkish bathhouse. There's actually places that look like that in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 69 people watching and we got 69 likes. So shout out to y'all for keeping it, you know what I'm saying, 1-to-1. If everybody can take a moment and smash that like button and get us to 80, that'd be great. So now here it says, from that wellspring came not only the names now set to be released, but a series of civil lawsuits, including Gufir's action against Britain's Prince Andrew for sexual assault and intentional infliction of emotional damage, that was settled out of court without admission of liability for a reported $12 million. The prince has always strenuously denied any wrongdoing. The defamation suit also set the stage for a federal sex trafficking case against Maxwell, who was found guilty on 5 of 6 charges and sentenced to a 20-year prison sentence in December of 2021. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. When it comes to quote-unquote alleged sex issues, whose name do you hear more? Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Cosby, or Michael Jackson? Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Cosby, or Michael Jackson? My question is, why are Epstein and Maxwell not the face of any type of criminal sexual degeneracy? I mean, because clearly they should be. It would be justified. That's wild. Shout out to the Prince of Paraphernalia. Prince of Paraphernalia said, I read the entire list off 3 days ago. All of the Clintons were on it. Former president. Yo, that's got to be crazy, man. What do you think that the rest of the world that have world leaders who are not on that list are going to say about the United States? Elvis Presley, he was another pervert. You know? But expectations that the release of the names from the aging defamation suit could transfer to criminal charges are likely overblown. Epstein deleted himself while awaiting trial in 2019, and after Maxwell's conviction, federal prosecutors made it clear that they considered their work done. That doesn't mean anything. What that actually means is that they just made a statement, and they made that statement for whatever purpose. A lot of times they'll make a statement like that just to make people think that they're done so that people don't ask about it anymore. It could be what they call a quote-unquote pump fake. You know what I'm saying? Still, U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska's 51-page order explaining her reasoning on whether to unseal or continue to redact the names of about 180 John and Jane Does will probably be a serious embarrassment to many high-profile figures. Yeah. How many people want to have their name like continuously associated with Jeffrey Epstein? Now, here's my thing. If you were associating with Jeffrey Epstein and you were part of all that and you were dealing with him and you saw and know what kind of stuff that he was involved in and you chose to say nothing, you should be mentioned. I think embarrassment should be the least of their worries. Many on the list will already be publicly known as associates, employees of Epstein and Maxwell, or people who had flown on his planes. It may also name Epstein's alleged victims who had been taken to homes, including a mansion in New York, a Palm Beach villa, a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and a ranch outside of Santa Fe. It's the names of the John Does that will be mostly scrutinized and is almost certain to include former U.S. president, actors, academics, and notoriously the now reclusive British prince. Now, let me ask y'all this. Why is he reclusive? Shout out to Miss Butterscotch. What's good with it? Happy New Year to everybody that's in here, by the way. I appreciate y'all. According to ABC News on Monday, Jane Doe 162 is a witness who testified when she was 17, when she was with Andrew Maxwell and Guffier at Jeffrey Epstein's home in New York, in a New York mansion. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton was identified by ANC News as Doe 36 and is mentioned in more than 50 of the redacted filings, according to court records. Guffier made no allegations of wrongdoing by Clinton, but maintains she met him on the island, which Clinton has said he never visited. Okay, so now I think the rest of this here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Yeah, we never mind. I was going to skip some of this, but let's actually read this. So now it says here, Epstein's scheduling diaries that found their way to the Wall Street Journal this year during Epstein-related lawsuits between the U.S. Virgin Islands and two U.S. banks revealed the extent that the financier continued to build his network. Okay. The bold-faced names that emerged included Director of CIA William Burns, Catherine Rumler, White House counsel under Barack Obama, alongside lesser figures, including the left-wing professor and activist Noam Chomsky, billionaire venture capitalist Reid Hoffman, and Lawrence Summers, former Harvard president and director of National Economic Council under Obama. Now, let me ask y'all this. Again, why are so many people involved with the United States government on these damn lists? Do you notice how, like, there's not anybody from any other government? Like, there's nobody from the Russian government or nobody from the Chinese government or none of that. It's United States and Britain. Why is that? Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Should we look at what's going on here and ask the question, well, if this is what U.S. politicians are doing, then what can we make the assumption and say about U.S. politics? Because, again, these people that are engaged in this right here are the people that are the quote-unquote authority figures and the lawmakers of our government. So if this is what they see and feel is appropriate and what they choose to do, what does that say about what they're doing? So now other people who are on that list included Woody Allen, Bill Gates. Imagine that. Is anybody shocked by this one? Thorbjorn Jagland, a former Norwegian prime minister, former Israeli prime minister Ehud Barak, and former Barclays chairman Jess Staley. An acquaintance of Maxwell and Epstein told The Guardian last year that Epstein's patterns of behavior were not significantly different pre and post convictions. He was not a changed man, they said, but you need to understand that in his mind, he thought he'd done nothing wrong and he was entitled to behave any way he wanted if he had the money to pull it off. So I guess we need to understand that. I don't think that we need to understand that. I think we need to understand that you're a degenerate, you did wrong, and what you believe doesn't matter. Reality matters. And the reality is that you're a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? I really would like to hear a justification that people are going to have of why they were hanging out with this dude, why they were doing business with him, what kind of possible excuses there could be, because I can't think of any. Unless if they had common interest, which makes it a questionable thing. Then we got to ask the question, well, now that we know that they had common interest, do they have common interest in common pastimes and activities and frequent degeneracies that they like to do? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alonda. Happy New Year. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to DSB again with the $2 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Please make sure you guys show him some love. He's been killing it this stream. Definitely appreciate you, bro. And so real quick, ladies and gentlemen, let me shout out the stream sponsors. We got Miss Nisi with the $5 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. We got DSB with the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Shout out to Mike Mellis John with the 15 months of membership support. And shout out to the entire Green team. Definitely appreciate y'all for your membership support. We got DSB with the $3 super sticker. And we got DSB with the $2 super chat. And also shout out to Katsy for 15 months of membership support. Definitely appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys watch this stream all the way through to the end. Do not move. It'll take you right into the next stream. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as always,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on Molly, that's on Kiwi, that's on Mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this light. Hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey.